We have spoken a lot about privacy assessments. It's time now for the Indian businesses to think about doing assessments in their organizations. The draft rules of DPDP Act are out yesterday only, and we are not far away from getting them implemented soon. Welcome to my YouTube channel where we daily see some new content on data privacy, and as I said, today we'll talk about why Indian businesses need to go through privacy assessments and they should be ready now. So, what is this base of or the base objective of the Indian Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023? Passed as an act in August 2023, the draft rules have come in yesterday. That's 4th of January 2025, and maybe in a couple of months the rules get finalized. Currently they are there for the public opinion. So let's look into what is the primary focus of the act. The act is focused on protection of personal data of the citizens of India in digital format. May be collected in paper format but digitized later. It needs to protect the rights of the individuals. We call them data subjects when we refer to the DPDP Act. Privacy is a fundamental right of Indian citizens, so the organizations, the businesses who handle personal data, which is a very open-ended thing, all businesses handle personal data. You employ someone, you have all their personal details, including family details, including their past payroll and the current payroll and bankers as well, right? So you even have their sensitive personal details. You do their medical test, you have their healthcare record also to some extent with you. And the government wants that personal information being held by any organization, which in our context, in the DPDP Act context, we call them as data fiduciaries, there should be no misuse of this personal data. Compliance is there. Compliance should be treated as a checkpoint. You should not comply with things only for the sake of compliance. You should also look at the positive things, the best practices that those laws bring in. The authorities make an effort to get feedbacks and views from different people to finalize things, and they are for the betterment of both the businesses as well as the data subjects or the individuals who are impacted in that businesses. Though there are penalties, so you should stay committed and cautious about being compliant as well. So what are the expectations that the bill or the act brings in from businesses or the data fiduciaries? Complete transparency of their business processes, accountability, proactive address of business concerns, and these concerns under this act are talking more about the privacy of the personal data, ethical data processing practices, and readiness to handle the breaches. The government does not want that there are many breaches. The government does not want there are many instances. They don't want you to escalate it to the data protection board or the appellate tribunal. So they want you to follow the standard norms so that the things are taken care at the organizational level itself, and you should be able to handle the queries that come in from the regulators. What are the nature of Indian businesses? Do Indian businesses, apart from handling their employees, do handle important things? One of the leading business in India, one of the leading points in India is that India is a large country geographically as well as population wise. So there is a wide spread of customers. The growing technology giving flexibility and facility to even the remotest possible customers. They can order things with all their personal financial details, location details online on the application, and then you have to rely on third-party services to deliver the service at that remote location because of the large geographical region. So any business in India handles a lot of personal information, and with the technologies growing in and new apps coming in, the extent of personal information being held by any small business also is increasing day by day. The other thing also that is important is that India is also a hub for service industry across, and we'll talk about a few important industries in India that are pure service industries. Social media is a simple thing where you can trigger a complaint or a concern that can impact your business's reputation. So you need to be more cautious these days. Large businesses, as I spoke about, healthcare, right? New diseases, new researches, and a lot of research happens in India. So a lot of personal data is available with our healthcare industry. India is also a hub for global patients. Most of the large private hospitals have a separate wing who handle the international patients. So that means if your patient is European, you have to follow GDPR while handling his data, and if your patient is flying in from any other part of Asia, you have to follow the respective regulations from them as well. Apart from that, India handles a lot of financial data. New facilities, new apps coming up, the spread of financial investments like mutual funds, insurance to the rural areas is increasing the amount of data that financial data that the financial organizations are handling. And young population who is looking as needs a lot of financial support as well. Again, we are financial services company to a large number of international organizations also. The biggest business in India is being a service industry. Service industry not only catering to ourselves and internally, for example, tourism, being a very old country, there's a lot of tourists that we have, so we capture a lot of international data. We are a IT hub. We have a lot of application developers. We have a few cities which are dedicated more as a software developers for international companies. We have a lot of new startups coming in and out very regularly. Apart from that, we are offshore data processing for a lot of large companies. The cost benefit that India gives brings in a lot of international companies to do offshore development and data processing in India, and therefore we have a lot of personal data collected both for the Indian citizens and international citizens. So our businesses need to be cautious about the global privacy frameworks as well. So what is the need in India then? The need is to adopt the global standards. They have to cater to the global customers, whether they are healthcare, whether they are fintech, whether they are into hospitality and tourism, hotel industry. They all have global customers flowing in and out, right? And apart from the huge population, the internal population that they have to cater to. So they have to protect data from breach, and they have to deliver the expected service the way they have been delivering. Maybe they should improve on service delivery, as that is what you expect from providers. So they need to be transparent on processing, be accountable for the handling of personal data that they collect, and at least for Indian citizens, for sure for international ones as well, be compliant with the Indian DPDP Act for the Indian citizens. Now, again, compliance can put you on penalties, direct penalties, as well as a lot of cost of mitigations and litigations. But apart from that, non-compliance or breach can lead into a bad reputation and an indirect loss of business. On my channel, you have a lot of case studies around that as well. So you need to be compliant with all the applicable or most of the applicable global and industry regulations to be there, to be fair, to expand your business. To be ready to that, you need to reassess your processes, check your breach points, especially the ones that involve personal data, understand the risk and create mitigation plans. Relook at your processes, change all your processes. Privacy should be a culture. No HR should be allowed to talk about an employee's performance with anyone other than that employee or the direct manager. Talking about his performance, his salary, his increment with anyone else is a breach, right? Adopt Dr. Ann Cowickian's privacy by design. Put privacy elements into each and every process of yours. Your compliance should be ready by the time the law and the rules are finalized, and I hope that it should be effective by the start of the next financial year, which is 1st April 2025 for the Indian geography. Perform privacy assessments that can help you in the above. How can they help? Data protection impact assessment. We have a complete playlist on this. For a high processing, sensitive data processing. Transfer impact assessment. You work with global customers, you exchange data with them. So you need to be careful about your standard contractual clauses, your data security, encryption, anonymization, and binding corporate rules. Legitimate interest assessment. You do a lot of public interest. I said we do a lot of researches, right? So you don't need a consent, but you still need to make sure that you are taking care of personal data there. And then the privacy impact assessment, the boss of all assessments. Anywhere, any handling of personal data should be covered by a privacy impact assessment. So that's about why Indian businesses should now be ready with doing assessments around their business. Depending on the kind of business they are doing, what assessment should they choose. I hope you like the content of the video. Please press the bell and the like icon. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and share your feedback in the comment section. Thank you.